Sup, y'all? Just watched Dragon Ball Episode 13, The Legend of Goku. And it's just playing out what happened at the end of the last episode. Goku turns into his giant Uzaru form, as we find out in later canon, but it's just a giant were-monkey right now. And he just wrecks up Pilaf's castle. And our good boys and girls gotta run away, while Pilaf and his crew try to kill Goku with a heat-seeking missile. Of course, he just gets over it and he throws this giant piece of rock at their airplane, knocks it out. It's like a very King Kong homage sort of thing. And eventually, through just sheer happenstance, they just figure they gotta cut his tail off. They just know that the tail is the weak point from earlier episodes. So Yamcha grabs it, it pisses Goku off more, and then Oolong and Puar grab his tail to try to get him to stop moving, because he's about to eat Bulma. This is this weird scene where he's like holding Bulma like out here, and it's just like licking her, and it's very inappropriate. But they eventually just they figure out they don't even have a transitional thought of just what it would mean to cut his tail off. All they know is his weak point. If anything, don't cut the tail off. You remove his weakness. I don't know. There must be something lost in translation. I feel like maybe the Japanese subtitle version would probably say hey, I bet if we cut his tail off, something will happen. So we don't have tails, and we don't transform with the full moon. There's a simple, stupid line like that would have made so much more sense. But no, they just know the tail's the weak point. Yamcha tries to cut it off with a stone sword he makes by punching some rocks into the shape of a sword. It's actually quite goofy. But eventually, Puar just turns into a giant pair of scissors and just chops that tail off. And of course, Goku turns back to normal, wakes up, gets his power pole, and the dragon is gone. The Dragon Balls are inert for a whole year. They can't even find them right now. They just look like regular rocks. And Pilaf and his bad boy crew, they've run away. Their castle's destroyed. All their guns, all their weapons are gone. So they just run away. And Bulma and Yamcha have these private moments to themselves, like, oh no, we gotta wait a whole year before I wish for a boyfriend. I gotta wait a whole year before I wish to not be scared around pretty girls. And they look at each other and they realize, our wish has been granted already. It's like one of those neat little bows that just knowing that it doesn't work out between them it's a little sad. These young kids in love just doesn't work out at all. But in this moment they're pretty happy about it, so that's fun. But they all decide to kind of go their separate ways. Yamcha and Bulma are going to go back to the city and try dating, try a life, try something. Puar, the consummate third wheel in Yamcha's life, is going to come along, and Oolong's going to go to the city too. Goku, on the other hand, is going to head on down to Master Roshi's and train like his grandpa did. Oh, and the good boys and girls crew decide not to tell Goku that he could turn into a were-monkey, because that would kind of break his heart that he is the one that killed his grandpa, and they don't want to put that on him. He's just a little boy. He can't handle that. It would probably just fly right over his head. He couldn't really comprehend it. But anyway, yeah, so that's kind of where the episode ends. Goku flies off to a different path than everyone else. They kind of part ways, and that's it. That's it for episode 13, The Legend of Goku. And really this whole first 13 episode arc of Dragon Ball, this intro arc. And my thoughts on it are a bit mixed. There's a lot of content here. There's a lot of jokes. There's a lot of visual gags that I think are really... Maybe, in the 80s in Japan, this was appropriate, but I don't know. I definitely would not show this to my kids if I wanted any. But even still, I wouldn't show it to anyone's kids. I mean, it's also just kind of really slapdash writing. Some of these episodes like this, instead of 13 episodes, this could have been 5, really. There's so much filler here. Some of it is fun, but most of it is not. So far, Dragon Ball is just not really doing it for me. A couple times I've giggled, a couple times I've been kind of invested, the Wolf Fang Fist, the fights and stuff, but I think that's because I'm nostalgic for Dragon Ball Z, and I can't remove myself from that. So when Dragon Ball isn't Dragon Ball Z, it just doesn't do it for me. But I'm going to keep going, because I know it gets bigger and better. I remember as a kid watching up through this next huge arc, and it is a big arc, unless you separate training with Master Roshi and the first big world fighting tournament into 2 separate arcs, then it's a little bit more manageable. But we're gonna, I'm gonna think of it as one big arc, because it's this whole thing. Like, it's really like that's the path they're going down the whole time. Or maybe, when we're watching it, we'll figure it out. But yeah, that's it for the first 13 episodes of Dragon Ball. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you've watched along with me, or have just watched up to this point and you see that this video is a bit longer or a bit more involved, or you think, hey, wait a minute, isn't episode 13 the end? Just, go ahead and let me know what you think of Dragon Ball so far, or even just this particular episode, even though there really isn't much to talk about. These episodes are so light and fluffy in content. There's not much to talk about other than just what it means for the overall picture. So yeah, let me know. We're going to keep going. But yeah, thanks for watching.